6:06.
Okay. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 6:06. With a roll call
Kim Leonard,
here.
Colleen Clinton,
Here.
Gina Cannon here, Catherine Fontaine, absent. Claudia Parker,
I apologize. I need to dial her in. She was unable to attend in person and I totally forgot to call her. Here we go.
Dan Malloy.
Here.
Kevin O'Connor,
Here.
Hello, Miss Leonard.
Hi, you are on speakerphone and we have started the meeting and we have called your name for attendance. Ms. Parker, are you here yet?
Here.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Nothing like being told, hey, you're on speaker. Okay, so let's please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everyone, thank you for coming. Before we approve the agenda, I do have some additions to make and some deletions, and I believe somebody else does. So at this time, I would like you to take a look at after board reports before board reports. I'd like to recess to closed session during that time to discuss employment, compensation, discipline, performance of or dismissal of a specific employee of the district. So I would like to have our first recess to closed session happen after public comments and under A, so after the union co-president's report. Secondly, I would like to ask that we remove the board report so that will be a deletion under board report A for Aero Governing Board, which would make board policy move up to A. And then, sorry, one more. I would also like to add under closed session, this, so we are going to go into closed session after public comments in A. We will suspend our closed session, come back out, finish. Then when we resume closed session, I would like to also add real estate, which is a reason to also go into closed session. So that would be another additional item that we'll be discussing in closed session.
the first one,
No, the
the
second
second one,
The
okay,
second one.
okay.
I'm sorry, and if there's anyone else that has any other things that needs to be,
The minutes, the second.
oh, thank you. Which one is it? Would you tell me? I'm sorry.
The second set, the regular minutes of.
Okay, so we are not also approving, what letter is it? I'm sorry.
Table, under action items.
Seven.
consent Agenda items 6 and.
Yes, so we are going to remove, I'm sorry, I knew that there was one other thing. We are going to approve the closed session minutes from the regular meeting of March 17th and number 5, which is approve the regular board meeting minutes. We are going to approve those next week at the next board meeting, which is the final board meeting for the current board. And then we will also approve these minutes before you retire from the board. Okay?
And can we take a 2-minute pause?
Yes,
We're just having one short issue.
absolutely. So we're gonna take a 2-minute pause. Thanks, Sonia, for reminding me. Are we back on? You tell me when.
We're okay.
Excellent. Okay, so at this time, I would like someone to make a motion to approve the additions and deletions on the agenda as,
Can I ask a question?
absolutely.
I'm sorry. You were ready and I was not. You had mentioned under board reports that you have policy on your list. I do not have policy on my list.
It
No,
was
either.
district
That was
review.
removed because the meeting still has to be scheduled. They have different
Are you
Well,
looking
I
at
was
the-
just worried because we are policy and I was like, wait, I don't have,
We didn't poll.
I don't have anything to say. Hold
Sonia
on.
likes to give me the oldest
Okay,
stuff.
no.
Dirt should move to A.
I just wanted to.
Yeah,
make
look at
sure.
the one on
Okay.
your-
So dirt will move to A. I apologize. Sorry
Okay,
about
thank
that.
Now,
Now
sorry
it
about
makes
that.
sense.
All right, so now that we got that straightened out, thank you for clarification.
I just thought she made mistakes.
You just thought, whatever. Okay, so with that being said, could someone make a motion to approve the agenda as outlined with corrections?
I will make that motion.
Thank you. And I need a second
I'll second.
and a roll call.
Colleen Clemzak,
Yes.
Gina Cannon, yes. Catherine Fontaine, absent. Claudia Parker,
Yes.
Dan Malloy,
Yes.
Kevin O'Connor,
Yes.
and Kim Leonard.
Yes.
Motion is passed.
Great, thank you. At this time, before we start our meeting, Sonia and I are gonna talk.
This is the most current.
Thank you. That's all right. I'm sorry. So before we start the meeting, I just want to give a huge shout out to all of our administrative professionals today. It's Administrative Professional Day. We have an amazing staff and they are an integral part of why we are so successful in the district office and in all of our buildings. It has been a difficult year and they certainly are what we would consider our frontline workers. They are the first people that our children see when they go into the office, our parents, our teachers, our staff, everyone. They put out fires all day long that we never hear about. They are the unspoken heroes in our buildings. So it is a great day to honor them. So again, congratulations, and we hope you had a great day today as celebrating your Administrative Professional Day. With that being said, I am going to turn over the staff reports to Dr. Webb and Dr. Longo.
Okay, first, we'd like to acknowledge our retiring board members and talk about that leadership truly has taken on a new meaning in 20 and 21, right? And it's a time to reflect on the board's role in creating lasting educational opportunities that meet local desires and offer a pathway to a successful future for each and every child. It's an opportunity to honor school board members who serve as unpaid volunteers for the benefit of the students and community residents who also acting as frontline education advocates, providing a local voice and vision for the district. All of these responsibilities hold true, but they take on a much larger meaning during the pandemic. For board members, the tough choices this year go beyond traditional educational outcomes while continuing to champion academic success. School board members must also weigh their decisions in terms of health and safety of students, teachers, and members of the community. School board members continue to work to ensure the decisions of the district are equitable for all and that everybody is given the resources and opportunities to achieve their dreams. For school boards this year, it's about making the most out of a difficult circumstance and persevere during times of challenge while still being able to achieve the goals necessary for students to become outstanding citizens. School board members continue to fight for our local school districts, the students, the staff, and all residents that benefit from having thoughtful and dedicated public servants making public education decisions at the local level. Great school system is a source of local pride among our residents. That didn't change this year, and it will continue to be the case going forward. Thank you for sticking with us and doing what was right on behalf of our staff and our children. We appreciate your work. We're sorry that you're retiring. We know we're getting 3 terrific board members too, but what you did by leading during a pandemic and hiring a new superintendent and new business manager, you've done incredible work on behalf of the families and the students in Enrollment 124. We thank you for that. So retiring, we have,
Oh, hang on, can I get
Yes.
some information?
yes,
So retiring before we get to them, I wrote a few little things about each one of them.
Oh,
Some
good.
little facts I thought they didn't enjoy.
Kevin.
So we're gonna start with Gina. Gina has served for 8 years on the school board. She has been 4 years as a secretary. She has served on the communications committee, the Aero, Scope, student discipline and handbook. She's had 3 strategic plans under her belt. She's helped hire a superintendent. She has attended 96 regularly scheduled board meetings.
Oh my
She
God.
has.
It doesn't seem like that many
She has
though.
attended, oh, I counted each one of them, 29 COW meetings, 24 special board meetings for a total of 149.
No wonder my family didn't want me to quit.
We are very proud that and very honored that she has dedicated so much of her time to us, and we are grateful. She also has 2 children that have graduated through Central Middle School, and she now has 1 up and coming Central Middle School graduate. So congratulations. Going to move to Catherine Fontaine. She unfortunately could not be here tonight, but I have her stats also. She has served for 4 years as a board member. She has successfully helped negotiate the last contract with our union membership. She has been on the finance committee, the facilities committee, and although it's 48 regular meetings, I did not count all her COW and all her special board meetings, but I want to say it was close to 15 of them altogether. So for a total of almost 70 board meetings. And Kevin. Kevin O'Connor has served 2 years. He joined us. Well, let's give Catherine a round of applause. And then Kevin O'Connor, we dragged him in and he agreed to be our 2-year interim. We like the interims apparently. And he has been to 24 meetings. He has successfully also helped hire our next superintendent. He has served on the facilities and finance committee. And honestly, he jumps in and helps wherever he can also. We are very sad for our retirees, but we understand that you are moving on from us. We look forward to hearing about all the great things that you are going to be doing in the future. And we are grateful for all your service that you gave to the school district. So thank you.
Okay, so you already did it.
Oh,
Yes, you did.
All right.
Awesome.
so we have some plaques for you. I should have counted how many tapes we had to do.
Well, we had the other, the digital one for a while.
That's true.
All right,
Just went
so
back to old school.
We just did.
the first one is for Gina Cannon for your service to the Board of Education. Just stay up here because we're all gonna get up here.
Not all. of them.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Catherine Fontaine is unable to be here, and Dr. Kevin O'Connor. Here we go. And could the rest of the board members come on up and join us for a picture? Here, you two are in the middle. Go ahead.
If you guys stand in front and they stand behind you.
Oh, that's, we're good.
I like that.
Yeah.
You can stand in front.
All right.
All right, ready? You're in it too, Leela. Okay, not anymore. 1, 2, 3. Awesome, thank you.
Still smiling behind our mask.
Congratulations.
You were.
We too would like to thank our members
You're just worried about that, aren't you?
for allowing us to serve as your interim superintendents. Thank you for putting faith and confidence in us. And so we will miss you, but wow, what a great district, and for your service, we are eternally grateful. Thank you so much. At this time, we would like to bring forward Ms. Linda Panico to talk about the grant recipients.
Good evening, Board of Education, Dr. Longo, Dr. Webb, and Dr. Woodland. My name is Linda Panico. I'm the Vice President of the District 124 Foundation. And on behalf of Ken Fryer and Laura Sexton, the co-presidents, thank you for letting us speak tonight. The foundation is pleased to announce we are awarding $3,266 in grant money this evening. This year, we have 4 recipients receiving the grants. Unfortunately, the foundation waited till the last minute to announce this. So 3 of our recipients cannot join us tonight, but one of them are here, and then we're still going to announce the other ones. So Mr. Terry Masterson from Northeast is actually here, and he is one of the recipients, and he has offered to actually speak on his behalf, which I'm so happy with. So if you could welcome.
Hi, thank you for letting me be here tonight. As Mrs. Panenko said, I'm the technology teacher at Northeast, and I'm super excited for this grant. Thank you for the district and for the District 124 Foundation for putting this out there. We're gonna get a 3D printer and some 3D printing pens, and I think that'll really bring in like the inspiration that's deep in our kids out and harbor that STEM excitement. So we're actually starting a cardboard challenge right now. And I'm thinking if I can get this stuff in time, we could do little models before they make their bigger models. So I'm super excited to see what our kids can do. And I just want to thank you and thank the foundation as well. So,
Excellent.
thank you.
I'm so glad it's a 3D printer.
It can also laser engrave.
Kim
We
and
could have
I,
made these.
You could have
We
made
could have
that.
made your.
What a great project for
Really?
kids.
Yeah, it's gonna have
Oh,
laser
here it is. There
engraving.
you go.
So we could do that type of thing too.
Oh my gosh.
I'm super
I'm
excited.
gonna
That is
remember that.
exciting. That is so exciting.
I know.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
1, 2,
I know
3.
3D printer, that's really cool.
remember when we brought that back to
Every
the
year we
business?
say
Every year we bring it back from conference.
All right. Our next recipient is Julia Kelly. She is 8th grade ELA teacher, student council for SAD and leadership sponsor. This is their MLAK Day of Service. She stated that the grant will allow them to develop an authentic working relationship with a community service program. This will allow the students to see that they have the power to make a difference in their community. It will empower students to feel invested in their community, and further it will allow our diverse student body to work together towards a common purpose, developing a genuine sense of community. In these ways, it will benefit the culture of our school, district, and community. Congratulations to Ms. Kelly. And next is Ms. Madden. She is a 1st grade teacher over at Southeast. She is looking for a take-home library. She said she'd like to set up a take-home library in her classroom to provide her students with the ability to take home a book at their instruction level and or interest level every night. Students would be allowed to take a book home, read it with their family. Mrs. Madden would also support parents as how to best support their children when reading at home. When students are done with the book, they'll return it, get a new book, and this is to ensure all students have an equal opportunity to learn. Congratulations to her. And Mrs. Roman, the school psychologist at Southwest. She was asking for a grant for building resilience and coping skills. It's a 2-year access to GoZen curriculum for all the social workers and school psychologists in the district. The COVID-19 pandemic has resulted in a rise in mental health needs for most students. The research-based program is a curriculum that allows staff to teach students skills relative to resilience, mindfulness, anxiety, executive functioning, impulse control, and emotional intelligence. Groups can be done in tiers 1, 2, or 3, and in lengths of time from 20 to 60 minutes, depending on the need. And the groups can be run in every building. And each lesson will include animation, key learning points, worksheets, and practice quizzes. Congratulations to Ms. Roman. And then I'd like to congratulate all our recipients, and we appreciate all your hard work and dedication you give to the students in the district. So thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations to all of the recipients. It's very exciting. I can't wait to, well, I won't, I can't wait to hear about
Yes.
the results. Sorry.
We'll send their
I was just
certificates to
gonna
the
tell you,
schools.
you come
Yes, we
over.
will make sure we get the
Thank you.
certificates to them.
Thank you. At this time, we will ask Deb Mitrovich to present our Someone You Should Know.
Hi, good evening. I'd like to introduce Tammy Maciak. Tammy is the store manager at the Myers here in Evergreen Park. And we'd like to recognize Tammy and her team this evening for their generous support to our district. I've discovered that Myers is a big proponent of supporting the community. And on their website, you can find many examples of the good work they're doing to support communities across the nation. Lucky for us, we have a Myers right here in our community that is doing just that. We first started our collaboration with Tammy and the Myers team back in spring of 2018 through their sponsorship of several community education programs. This past winter, they again stepped up to our inquiry for assistance through a generous donation that supported our winter food distribution program that provided over 500 grocery bags to district families. And on a quick personal note, Myers has become one of my personal favorite shopping stores. It's, they kind of have everything. It's always clean. It's always very organized and well stocked. And I think that's representation of the management that's there. It has been a true pleasure to collaborate with Tammy and her team. They're very quick to respond, extremely easy to work with. She and her team are a true example of the good community work Myers is doing. This is why we'd like to recognize Tammy and her Myers team as someone you should know.
All right, very good.
We have a certificate.
And these pictures up here are from the baking class that was made possible from the donation.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would just like to thank you. I know how hard this has been on your store. I'm also a very frequent shopper in there. I can't tell you, I see you all the time on the floor. You are working along with those associates when there were no staff because you had such a quarantining or they were sick you're out there with them every day. We see you out there, and the fact that you've helped us so much with our own students and done so much for our community. We are very grateful for your partnership. So.
I know. Here. Did you get our smiles?
Got it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, honestly, it was amazing when you walk in there and you just see her and she's so accessible and she's, it's a great store to shop at.
Our next Someone You Should Know will be presented by Miss Jan Stanton. Sorry.
She calls me.
Good evening to all. I'm sure you all know Camille Dickey as a wonderful 7th grade teacher at the middle school. However, what you might not know is that behind the scenes, she is a wonderful baker and cook. Since 2018, Camille has volunteered her time to do cooking and baking classes for our community education program. With Camille volunteering her time and with the generous donation of Meyer, we have been able to offer these classes to everyone in the community free of charge. When we had the community education classes last year and before that in person, Camille's son and daughters would always come to the class to lend a hand. And by the stories that they would tell about growing up, cooking together, and about Camille cooking with her mom and the beautiful way they work together. It was obvious to all that attended that Camille's love for cooking and baking was passed on to her children and to the people that she shared with here in our district. Most recently, Camille took on the challenge of doing a virtual cooking class, baking class. 52 of our families took part in that class. And you could see from the previous pictures, they all had a very good time. We had received a number of pictures. And they all enjoyed the class. So back by popular demand, we're doing another baking class next month. And Alex put it on the superintendent's newsletter for the first time Monday, and we already have 20 families registered.
Wow.
So please join me in recognizing Camille as someone you should know.
Thank you. My carrot cake turned out okay.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3, smile. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And our last someone you should know, last but not least, will be presented by Tim Sheldon and Company.
Dr. Vanek didn't.
Knows now.
I know. All right.
Do you have any music you can play?
No.
We'll get to that. Well, hello, Board of Education and our guests at home. It's my pleasure and privilege to speak to you today about Dr. Matthew Vanek. He truly is somebody that you should know. And I should say that I gathered input from all of my administrator colleagues on my remarks as well. But personally, I have to say that in my 20 years in education, I can think of no other principal that I respect more than Dr. Vanek. He's an incredible instructional leader and an inspiring colleague. While we don't actually say WWMBD, what would Matt Vanek do? It is absolutely true that we as elementary principals turn to him for his wisdom and advice. When he notices a challenge or an issue in something we have proposed or planned, he finds a way to provide that feedback without it ever sounding like criticism. He's always there to support us individually and as a team. And for that, we are truly grateful. I know I can speak for my fellow principals when I say with the utmost sincerity, thank you, Dr. Vanek. The thing I admired most about Dr. Vanek is his modesty. He is truly a successful instructional leader who is brilliant in his own right, but you would never know that when you speak with him. He is modest practically to a fault. He never seeks the spotlight, but when it happens to be on him, he always focuses on others, giving them the credit. This generosity of spirit and selflessness belie the fact that his leadership is an integral part of not only his school's success, but our district's as well. When you talk to people who have worked for Dr. Vanek, you hear the same words repeated over and over again. Organized, prompt, always has a solution. He truly lives the ideal of servant leadership on a daily basis. The students love him, and how could they not? He is truly invested in their success. You need look no further for proof of this than his former student and our current assistant principal, Claudio Martinez. Claudio has degrees from the University of Chicago and Harvard. With that background, there are so many doors that are open to him, but he has chosen to work here, to work with Dr. Vanek, his former teacher. That doesn't just happen by accident. That happens because of the incredible impact that Dr. Vanek has had on his students. It is for this reason, among others, that I personally nominated him for an award with the Illinois Principals Association, which you may not have been aware of until this moment. Now, I'm sure that whomever they actually chose was an excellent principal, but I know and we know that they are no Dr. Vanek. That is why I was thrilled to be given the opportunity to help recognize him in front of the Board of Education in our community. He is a phenomenal instructional leader, but more than even that, he's just a wonderful human being. We had prepared a little video for him that we know he would absolutely love with music attached, but we could not get the sound to work, which I think might be the biggest gift of all for Dr. Bannock, because he truly has heard that song enough. It's a little inside joke we have as a team. But seriously, Matt Bannock will never let you down. I'll say that much. But that is why he is someone that you should know.
All right.
He's crying. I just want to know if he's crying.
Thank you.
All right. For you to present, you nominated, it's your nomination.
All right.
Thank you.
Other APs?
Come on, Johnny, let's go.
Yep.
Like a wedding.
See, he hates this right now. He actually hates this right now.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That concludes our session with someone you should know. Thank you so much.
Amazing. These are amazing people. So we are very lucky to have such great people that are in our community.
Yes, we are.
So our next item is the first responder box, Stanton. Will talk to us, but this is just a tremendous idea, especially in times like this last couple of years and the difficulties that we see throughout our community. So, Jen, you want to talk about it?
Yes, as part of the community education program, I'd like to recognize some of those that serve the community on a daily basis. As a small way of saying thanks to from our community, I would like to ask our students and the community members to show their appreciation to our first responders by writing a letter of thanks, sending them a card, or giving a $5 donation gift card to any of our local restaurants. Once the letters and the gift cards are received, I'd like to write a letter from the district and the community, and then bring that to the fire department and the police department along with these gift cards. As a token of our appreciation, our first responders will have the gift cards available to them. They can run out, get a cup of coffee, donut, whatever, with our thanks. I would like to ask the building principals to help me with this initiative and to get the word out to the students. And I have already asked Alex to, if he would promote it on social media for our community, so the community members could partake as well.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Thank you, Jan.
So,
What would they do? Just bring it to one of the schools or district office?
The way I have it planned is that the students, teachers would get it to the building principal or the building secretary. And then I have a deadline date that I will get to them.
No, the community members.
The community members, I have a box, first responder box that we would put in the administrative office. And, once anyone brought in a thank you letter or a gift card, that would go in the box. Once we get them all together, we'll distribute them to.
I think that's a great way to honor all of our workers in the village, our first responders that have done a terrific and amazing job this year in our community. We are very grateful for all that work. So that's a great idea. And I'm sure that the principals will somehow coordinate with their teachers to do something with the kids to write. They're all shaking their head back there behind.
If not, I was gonna have to go to Dr. Bannock.
Yes, you know who to go to.
Dan, can you make it a contest between the schools?
Oh.
We could do a contest between the schools, sure.
Most
Or
letters,
West will win.
most letters.
Okay, that just got Mr. Sheldon's attention.
Just feel bad for my colleagues.
So we are certainly grateful. That's a great idea, and we will all support this
Okay, wonderful.
with you. And I'm sure Mr. Macer will get it out on social media.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. At this time, Mrs. Angela Iverson, Are you present? Please come up and talk about the grant the library grant that we received from the Office of the Secretary of State.
Hi, I'm Angela Iverson, the district librarian. So every year we apply for this grant through the Secretary of State. They also handle library funding throughout the state for both public libraries and school libraries. So this grant is based on our enrollment, and this year we received roughly $1,300. We're going to use it on electronic resources.
Have we gotten it in the past? I don't remember.
We have.
Oh, we
Yeah,
have?
we get it every
Oh, we
year.
get it every year.
We do,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So electronic resources, like how would that be?
Ebooks mostly.
Okay.
We started a new e-reading platform this year, so we'll just add more books to that platform.
Oh, that's great. Wow. Well, congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you.
And yes, thank you so much.
Jim Hennessy is going to talk about health, life, safety inspection, as well as our 10-year life safety.
And while he's coming up, I'd like to read to you from Dr. Vanessa Kinder, Executive Director from ISC 4. Dear Dr. Bridges Webb and Dr. Longo, you know, they put my name first that time.
Alphabetical.
On behalf of South Cook ISC 4, we want to say congratulations for having a perfect score in all of your district's school buildings for the FY21 Health Life Safety Inspection. There's a certificate enclosed. You have a copy, and it's to acknowledge this great accomplishment. As always, if you have any questions, just let us know. This is maybe it's history for me and my experience. May not be historic for 124, but this is just something that you should be proud of, and we are. And just want you to know. And the team.
It took everyone, the entire staff, not just my staff, extended day staff, kitchen staff, teachers. It's a coordinated effort, but they were very pleased to see how well our buildings look. Even with the new precautions in place and everything still looked great. I want to thank everyone else, so.
Yes, well, that's great. And that's certainly an accomplishment during a pandemic to be proud of that. Yeah, perfect score, amazing. So
He's a great leader.
yeah, so thank you for your leadership and all the facilities and all the staff out there that continue to work really hard to keep our buildings.
Thank you. And then next year, we will have our 10-year life safety survey. We're currently looking for new architects who would handle that survey. And that is a more in-depth report, just to check all our facilities, make sure everything's up to code and make recommendations on improvements. So
I can't believe it's already 10 years, so wow. All right. You're blinking, that's why. Oh. All right. Does anyone have any questions about our health, life, safety, anything? Our perfect score? Does anyone else want to say?
We mentioned at the CAL meeting last
Yeah.
week,
Mhm.
for those of you who are not here, the looking into the process for the applications for the architectural firms and things like that. So like knowing that you've got that process going and questions, this is the questions answered week, right? Isn't that by this Friday?
yeah,
Okay, and
and
then.
I actually had 2 more firms reach out today. So
Oh,
Okay.
great.
Wow.
It's great to be popular.
we're up to 8 different architectural firms that are showing interest in working with us.
Excellent.
Very good.
Well, we look forward to hearing more about it then. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
Yep, thank
Keep up the
you.
good work. Thank you so much.
So Alex Baster is going to talk about our student enrollment right now, where we stand with more students in person, and then he's going to transition into our update on COVID-19 cases.
All right.
All right, so this is basically just an update from what I presented at the last meeting. So now that it's rolled over to 4th quarter and we had more kids come back in person.
Wow.
So you can see here, district
92%.
at Southwest, yeah. So Scott's got almost his whole school back.
He sure does.
289, he's got more in-person students than Northwest has total students.
Someone you should know, I think.
But overall, we had 206 kids come back for the fourth quarter in person. And we went from 63% in person in the third quarter to 74%. So we've got almost 3/4 of our kids back. And then in the lower table, you could see by grade level, and you definitely see a trend where the older kids are more likely to stick remote, but our younger kids are coming back at higher percentages. But
Wow.
I thought it was great to see how many kids came back for the fourth quarter and that our outstanding principals were able to find spots for them and make it work. I don't think we turned anyone away.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
So that's enrollment, and then looking at our COVID cases. So to the left of that line is everything you had seen at our last meeting. So we have a little bit of a spike, which we expected after spring break. If you look at those peaks, it was after Halloween, after Thanksgiving, after winter break, so we knew something was coming. But the height of this peak rate, I don't know if you can read it, it's 5.3%, and it looks like we're already heading back down. So it'd be great if we see that continuing to drop. If that's the height of the peak, I think we'd be in decent shape. And then this is just looking at the COVID cases we've had since the last board meeting when I presented. I think to highlight something, if you look at the staff members, all those zeros, I think getting the vaccine is really making a difference. Most of our cases now are in students. And in addition to our staff members not getting COVID, they're not having to quarantine when a student has it. So it helps with our shortage of subs and things like that. And we just sent a email out to all staff asking who needed help getting an appointment still. And we only had 2 responses. So it seems like all of our staff members, except for a couple who want the vaccine, have been able to get an appointment.
Excellent. Do you know what percentage of our staff is vaccinated at this time?
We don't have exact numbers.
Okay.
In our last survey, like 80% of respondents were. So I would say it's probably between 80 and 90.
That's great.
It's very helpful.
All right, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for sharing. Does anybody else have any questions? No. All right. He's off the hook.
We have one freedom of information from Smart Procure, and we responded as outlined in your board packet. And that concludes our report.
Excellent. Yeah, that Smart Procure always is. What do they do it for? Do you know?
Yes, they do it so they can compare prices for the market. So
Okay.
you're actually doing their work for them.
Oh, so we're doing the work for them. That's nice. All right. So we're going to move on to the business office with Mr. Kostecki, the financial report.
The first slide is revenue. And usually I use as a hallmark or a point of, to get a point of perspective, how we're doing year to date compared to last year at the same time. And until this month, we were running ahead of prior year. But this month, we have fallen about $1 million behind last year's level. And when I do a deep dive, you can see that it's in our levy collections, with our second wave of levy collections, which is February, heavy in March, and then it starts to taper off in April. And right now, we're running about 13% soft of last year's levy collections. So that's given me quite a bit of concern. If that 13% were to hold, we'd run about $1,500,000 behind against what we budgeted to collect. I mean, when I put the budget together at the start of this COVID, I doubled down on what I normally am in my pessimism. Usually you make the judgment call that it's usually 2% because that's what the statistical historical database shows. But right now we're running, and I put it down at 4%, which is a significant buffer reserve. But if this 13% continues to hold, that would not be good news. You'd like to make the presumption that it's all a matter of timing. People eventually will have to get around and pay their real estate taxes, but we might be starting to see a possible ramification of the COVID lack of work.
Do you
and things.
know, is it mostly commercial or residential? Or you
It's
have no
not,
idea?
it's not possible for me to tell. I never get it by detail of what
Okay.
kind of customers paying. So
You have a percentage of what's been paid versus the tax levy we normally have? Like, is there any way that we're gonna recover that million, so we're not $1.5 million short?
I would guess that statistically speaking, over time, you'll eventually collect it, but it may not be in time because our year end ends in June, whether or not statistically it'll recover itself. It may not be collected for, another 6 months.
Well, is it that folks are paying late, or have they won appeals where we're gonna be short?
No, it's not from winning of appeals. This is clearly just not
Delinquent.
delinquent.
This is delinquent.
I
They
mean-
haven't paid their tax. 13% of our money hasn't been paid.
Yeah, I mean.
13% of
we
everything.
get our levies in 2 waves, right at the start of the new fiscal year, July and August, which most of those levies would have been already reserved and paid when you did your traditional mortgage. It's the second part, which is deep into the COVID, where maybe people fell behind on our mortgage payments or businesses. So it remains to be seen. I mean, maybe I'm ringing this alarm bell too early, but when I see that we're 13% behind last year's level, that's a scary moment.
In a typical year, how much comes in after late April? May?
500,000 comes in typically in this April, and then it tapers down to almost nothing. It is like a spike, and normally your March is your spike.
Is the spike lower, or is it the tail lower, or is it? across?
That's normally, the whole spike was lower. So we were $300,000 soft in February compared to prior year level at the same time. And now March, it's another $1 million soft. In February, when you're $300,000 behind, that 1 month does not a pattern make, but 2 months becomes a little scarier. The next slide, Alex. So then expense-wise, which of course, world of ironies, is the element of a budget that you could control. We're doing rather favorably. We're running about $600,000 favorable to budget to the expenses we incurred last year. So that would be helpful, but could by no means compensate for a revenue loss of this magnitude. Right now, our fund balance is 12.7 million. This is the usual seasonal high. The school district, we're running about 5.5 months of cash reserve. It does start to taper, and particularly in June when we're doing the summer payouts for all the staff members, that becomes reasonably close to the seasonal low. And obviously, we're saving quite a bit of money on certain component parts of our expenses that will be helpful. Is there any particular questions?
Assuming the pattern holds true and not all or any of that money ends up coming in, where do you see the fund balance ending up at the low point?
I think we started this fiscal year at about 6.8 million. You could get down to 5.8 million. Just quick math.
2 months, month and a half.
Yeah, it's about 2 months. So that's, some of this, hopefully it all turns out to be timing, but it's like anything else. Sometimes recoveries take a lot longer, particularly if it's a business that maybe never comes back, and or some homeowners that are.
Have we lost any of our businesses?
not that I'm aware of.
Me neither.
And we have our usual annual protests from a lot of the Fifth Third Bank, and Myers, Walmart. That all goes on every year. They're always protesting, but something else is going on right now.
Hopefully they will just pay a little late and get their money in.
Yeah, and maybe it's a timing issue, and
Right.
maybe the county will turn over more money. I'll let you know.
All right,
All right, well, thank you.
thank you. We're gonna move on to curriculum and instruction. It looks like the first one is Evergreen Reads book.
Oh, no, like, no leading up to it, Alex, you just throw it out there? We had like a whole
Drum roll, we needed to
We were gonna,
lower the
like,
lights.
So much for our ads, Angela. You just put it up there.
That's all right. We'll just talk about the book.
Oh, go ahead now.
Tim said he could not get the music to work. Maybe it's really Alex.
I'll, Angela, go ahead and speak. to it.
Okay. All right, so the book we've chosen, and we are a little bit late, we're running a little bit behind this year, but it's to be expected, is Wish Tree by Catherine Applegate. She is also the author of The One and Only Ivan. So we used that a few years ago, and that was a
Yep.
very popular one. Without giving too much away, Wish Tree is, and I hadn't heard of this tradition before I read the book. So there is a tradition of having a wish tree in different countries and communities where on May 1st, you put your wish. And then hopefully that kind of sends it out into the universe. So that's primarily what this book is about, but it also ties in some ideas of not accepting people because of their background and their heritage, and that kind of works into the story as well. So we have copies of this still available to families at each of our schools. We've given a copy to all of our teachers in our schools, and we're just hoping that everyone has a chance to read this story.
So if parents want a copy of it,
They can
How would-
stop at any of the elementary or CMS.
okay.
You're still left?
Yeah, if you need more, we have more too, to give you as well. Our teachers have a calendar of activities that they can do with their kids, and we have our drawing night planned. That's kind of the only thing we can do because we're gonna do it virtually. So
Excellent.
we're gonna do that as well, yeah. Oh, yeah, there is another book by a similar book that we have added for our younger elementary, so pre-K through third has another version of this by a different author, but same idea. It's also called The Wish Tree.
What's the name of that one? Do you know up here?
The Wish Tree.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Easy to remember.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same thing. Not hard
We
at
hope we
all.
didn't just uncover some kind of copyright or something.
Yeah,
but
no,
anyway,
no.
we're-
All right.
I saw in the library, in the Evergreen Park Library,
started
their
theirs.
newsletter came out and they have their big wish tree
They have
outside
those set
too,
up,
so.
yeah. We'll do ours with our kids on May 1st to go along with the story,
I love
but
that
yeah,
tie-in.
it'll
That's
be
so
fun,
great.
yeah.
Yeah.
Claudia, we have your book, so we will get it dropped off to you.
Thank you.
I'm very excited. I always love the books you choose.
This is a sweet one, yeah.
It is a sweet book.
Thank you.
Thanks, Angela.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we had graduation on the agenda again, so I think just to kind of update where we were from last week, we did send out the information to the parents and told them about the two options that they have, that they could either have the in-person with the rain date being that same day, but a little bit later and kind of splitting the groups up. And then also the option for a drive-through. So we've had about half the kids respond so far. Most of them, majority want the in-person. So we're gonna definitely fill the stands, I believe, at the football
Excellent.
field. And then several families that do want that option. So I'm glad we offered that to them to still have a way to recognize their graduates.
Sure.
So we're still getting that information in, and then we're doing the t-shirt voting, and all this stuff that we talked about last week is in progress now.
Great. I'm sure the kids are getting anxious and excited. Have they started a countdown?
They started an ABC countdown today or tomorrow, yesterday? Today. They started it today.
Okay, that's cute. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure that the parents are looking forward to whatever option that they choose for in person or the drive-by, is that?
Drive-through?
Drive-through, sorry, drive-through.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It was fun, except for the rain.
Yeah, the rain put a damper, didn't stop us.
I still have a tent if you need it. I'll
We
bring
will
it back.
Probably need a tent
That's, you,
still.
you brought the
Yeah.
tent last year too.
I can
We
track
borrowed the
down
tent.
more again.
All right.
Now I actually own one.
Uh,
I figured we'd be,
Yeah.
needing it again, so.
No, so that will also be a nice option. So any other questions about graduation? Are we good with?
When's the deadline to respond?
We put, oh, good, can't remember, soon, because we're gonna need time to plan. We'll put it out in a reminder again this Friday to make sure that they
Gina
we
should
get those.
know.
I did my survey. I did. I opened it and I'm like, you know what, if I don't do it now. Yeah.
Check you off, Tina.
Uh-huh.
Good.
Excellent. All right, well, thank you.
And then I think Daniel was gonna
Mr. Richmond's
give an
going to-
update on how our virtual open house went.
All right.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So on March 18th and 19th, we had a Zoom meeting, of course, where myself and members of the National Junior Honor Society, spoke with the 5th grade students at all 4 elementaries. It was a great experience. The kids really enjoyed it. They were really excited about lunch at Central. And the a la carte program, so you gotta make sure that's stocked when they come over.
Priorities, right?
Exactly, it's priorities, lunch, it's all about the lunch.
And then on March 30th, we had the virtual open house. Ms. Daly, Ms. Prado, and myself, we answered questions that parents had, in regard to Central and just, how it is day to day. It went over really well. We got a lot of positive feedback from the community. Also, at the end of the questions, we showed a video where it kind of gave that actual tour of Central, led by NJHS, and with some people you should know. Where some staff members spoke and said, welcome to Central. Talked about their classes, the curriculum. The new principal, Mr. Swilly, even had a brief moment where he came and he welcomed the students and the families. That video was also shared with all 4 buildings so they can share with the students in the 5th grade classrooms.
How many parents attended the virtual, do you know?
I do not know who were all online at the time, as far as the number.
It ended up being over 100 because they were able to watch it after the fact.
Wow, so that's like an incoming 6th grade, I mean, that's about.
Yeah. And I
That's
thank
great.
Alex for assisting me in setting it up while he was out of town. It all went well, except for the little volume problem we had at the beginning, but we straightened it right out.
All right, excellent. Well, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you very much. And now we're gonna go to summer school.
Good evening, everybody. Carrie and I are excited to lead the ESY program, the Extended School Year program this summer. And we're specifically looking forward to partnering with D124 staff and parents to provide meaningful experiences for students across the district. In this brief presentation, we're going to highlight various aspects of the Extended School Year program and help familiarize our community with our summer program. We're beginning with location, dates, and times. Carrie is going to lead the pre-K through 4th grade students and staff at the Northwest School from June 21st to July 22nd, and I'll be leading the 5th through 7th grade students and staff at the Central Middle School. You'll notice that we decided to stagger the times from the elementary students compared to the Central Middle School students, just so that parents have time to pick up students from one building and then be able to pick up other students at the other location without causing too much trouble for the families.
No, there's no trains in between those 2 schools.
Yeah, luckily, right?
Many of us have them in both.
Yes.
Regarding staff needs for summer school 2021, Carrie and I identified gen ed teachers, special education teachers, ELL teachers, paraprofessionals, nurses, secretaries, and speech language pathologists as the necessary roles that we'll need in order to effectively run the school.
And based on our numbers, we have about 215 total student recommendations from teachers. We'll get into that a little bit later, how we identified those students. So we do have preliminary numbers looking at about 27 certified teachers, 10 paraprofessionals, 3 speech pathologists, 2 social workers, a nurse, and then 2 secretaries. So, but those numbers will finalize the closer that we get all those responses back.
Are we doing a breakfast and lunch for them this year? during
So
that?
breakfast will be provided for all of the summer school
She's looking at
students.
me.
I wanted to make sure, yeah. Just get that done for all the summer school students. And then Deb we're working with Deb that they would do a central located, probably at central lunch pickup for the entire district.
Okay, sure, that's great.
Carrie mentioned a survey. The first survey that we're going to talk about is the survey that went out to teachers asking for recommendations for students to participate in the summer programming. Regarding the entering kindergarten students, Carrie and I actually led a screener last month for students and families that have registered for kindergarten. And using the screener and the information that we gathered, we were able to determine students that we thought were a right fit for the summer enrichment. And we were able to make recommendations for kindergartners. Regarding kindergarten through 8th grade current students already enrolled in our district, we encourage teachers to use STAR data, so students below the 35th percentile, as well as report card data, classroom assessment data that they've gathered independently, attendance data, and students who breach their remote learning contracts as well. We note that summer school is an alternative for students that breach their contract. And then finally, teacher recommendations independently, which included a variety of factors ranging from social emotional to peer interactions and other behaviors in the classroom.
Can I ask you really quick?
Of course.
So 215 kids have been recommended. Obviously, they're not all going to accept the invitation. But it looks like obviously we're doing it in person, which I think is vital to the success of this program. Do parents have the alternative or opportunity to do remote if they feel that that's best for their child?
Not at this time, no.
Okay. I didn't know if you're just gonna have one in person, I mean, a remote learn.
No, we're going to push for, we just think, this is an opportunity to close some achievement gaps and really look at focus skills with the students. So in order to do that with integrity, we want the kids in front of us.
And the classrooms are very typically small in summer anyway, so the social distancing shouldn't be a problem, because I don't think there's typically more than 10 or 15 kids.
No, and that's kind of why we split 2 schools as well, just to give us the room that we need to do that.
Excellent, okay, thank you, I'm sorry.
That's okay. So in your board packet, Claudio and I, and actually with the help of Mr. Sheldon, in the preliminary round, we put together an extended school year brochure and program guide that we hope will, just start to build our foundation for this program. So in years to come, we will always resort back to this and be consistent with our philosophies and with our protocols. So District 124 is dedicated to providing a quality extended school year program. We want to meet the needs of all of our learners, and the purpose of it is to provide our students with targeted instruction. So what that means is that we are using our assessment data from STAR, and STAR gives us focus skills, and we grouped the students according to the focus skills. And it's kind of like that old cliche, like less is more. So we're going to really hone in on the skills that they need to kind of close those achievement gaps. We envision our summer school program strategically will build student capacity, critical skills, thinking skills. And again, we're using that STAR assessment. I spoke with Mrs. Prado, and she's leaving the window open for STAR. So our students will take the STAR assessment in May, and we will use that as our baseline data. And then at the end of the summer school program, again, we'll have them take the STAR assessment again, and we'll have fresh data to report to you then in the fall, hopefully with a ton of success to report.
Excellent.
And then just the overall goals of our program. Again, this is kind of just snapshots of that program guide that we put together. But to prepare and help students transition to the next grade level, appropriate instruction based on their individual goal areas in both reading and math, progress and growth in particular skills identified by the classroom teacher. So we have those skills already identified based on the survey that we sent to our staff. We want to remediate and accommodate student deficits in preparation, of course, for the next grade level, so they have a nice smooth transition and build their confidence. And then provide an entry plan, at the end of summer school. So students will receive, as I mentioned numerous times, targeted instruction in the areas both reading and math. And then right now our district really tries to implement a workshop model. Of course, that model looks different this year. But where there's a mini lesson, there's some independent work time where teachers get to conference and circulate around the classroom, and where there might be, some investigations going on, problem solving, and then a debrief or reflection. And we feel if we follow this, we really want to concentrate on the instruction that's happening during summer school, and then use the resources that we already have, but follow this framework pre-K throughout 8th. 7th, sorry.
That's all.
Next.
That's it.
And then I did want to touch on the Jumpstart kindergarten program. I ran that program 2 years ago, and we saw great success. We decided this year to kind of put it all under that same elementary umbrella. So they'll be embedded within our program, but it will still have the same philosophy, that we want to prepare our kindergarten students for the demands and the rigor of kindergarten. So Claudio and I did run the screener. We have another screener that we will run again in a couple weeks. And we did identify from that screener, we have 12 students already just from the first 50% of student screen. We also have some in-house referrals. So we're hoping that to keep our class size limited to about 15 students. But again, it will be a part of the program at Northwest School.
The Jumpstart program was awesome.
Yeah.
It's very successful.
And we do plan, to be creative and offer some cultural and enrichment, whether if it's assembly to kick off or something to, of course, it would probably have to be virtual, but after we get our referrals and our registration taken care of, we'll look into that planning next. Are there any questions? No?
That sounds great. I look forward to hearing how many kids you're going to have in the program.
They've done great work.
Yeah.
Denise McField has been in this.
Yeah, Denise McField has been a great help. Thank you so much.
That's awesome.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I just like the thought of summer school, that's all.
Exactly.
They have me
I
in
don't think
summer.
there'd be a lot of kids that would
They
agree
have
with
me
you.
at- no, but that's great.
Great. At this time, we are going to move to public comments, correct?
Yes.
And I always seem to miss something, so I'm just double checking. All right, so yes, we're gonna move on to public comments. We did receive one public comment tonight. I will read it. It is from Mary Kate McGarry. It says, as a parent of a soon-to-be kindergartner, fall 2021, we feel it is our duty to do our part in contributing to the safety and well-being of the students, faculty, staff of D124 and the community as a whole. We appreciate the health protocols District 124 has put forth this past year based on the CDC guidelines. We are greatly concerned about a crucial component not mentioned in the current protocols in place, ventilation. Keeping a constant flow of fresh air coming into the classrooms, libraries, offices, and cafeteria while expelling the stale air from the room. The science behind COVID-19 airborne transmission is definitely recognized by the experts at this time. Research has proven that ventilation is an essential factor in effectively mitigating transmission indoors. What, if any, steps is the district taking to improve ventilation in our schools? Please describe in detail. Thank you. Thank you for sending in your public comment. We typically do not respond to public comments, but at this time, I am going to invite Mr. Hennessy to respond to this so that people that are listening can understand how our ventilation system works, especially due to the, like they were talking about, COVID-19 airborne. Thank you, Mr. Hennessy.
So during the start of the school year, when we were notified of the new guidelines that the CDC recommended, we made sure that all of our HVAC systems in all the district buildings were running with as much fresh air as possible. Classrooms normally have between 3 to 5 fresh air transfers every hour. So the amount of fresh air in the schools is actually better this year than it ever has been. Our maintenance staff routinely monitors the conditions of the HVAC systems. Every day we're able to do it digitally and we keep track of everything. Filters have been changed more than a normal year. Air purifiers have been put in locations where we thought it would be most beneficial. And I'm happy to report that we haven't had any outbreaks in any of our schools. Any COVID cases that we have had have come from the outside. And I'm proud of my staff for being able to keep the buildings safe. So I don't see any concern for the HVAC systems. I understand parents' concerns, but I want everyone to know that our buildings are safe.
One of your staff members is a licensed HVAC, right? Who is?
Yes, ma'am. One of our maintenance staff is a licensed HVAC technician, so he's been on top of it all year.
That's great. So it sounds like our ventilation is 3 to 5 times per hour. Is that what you said?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's circulating the fresh air, and we have.
And our teachers also take advantage of the fact that we have windows that are operable.
Absolutely.
And they do open up windows and keep doors open in the classrooms at times, do they not?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, this year we've recommended to keep the doors open, just to keep the flow of air.
all right. So I hope that answers the question Ms. McGarry had sent in. Thank you. Thank you so much for explaining it for us. At this time, I would, if anyone has any questions, no, I'm sorry. We'd like to.
I just wanted you to, for somebody that might be tuning into our board meetings for the first time, they may not understand why it is that we don't typically respond to public comments during the meeting. Can you just speak to that for a second?
Sure. Typically, public comments are for the public to speak to us what is on what they have concerns about. And we have followed up with people through email at times when necessary, but typically public comments are just, they're not necessarily questions that we answer. But because of the COVID-19 question, I think it's important sometimes to just take a moment and fully explain the mitigation that we are, the routines that we have to keep our students safe. Does that explain it? Did I sum it up well, Claudia?
I think so.
Okay, thank you. So at this time, we'd like to invite our union co-presidents, Ms. Joanne Riley and Ms. Katie Patras. Hello.
Good evening.
How are you?
You know, before we start, I would just like to mention from the teacher standpoint for Mr. Hennessy, he's been amazing. Yes, all year. Any concern, any issue that any teacher has had that has put an email out or a phone call, he is there within the hour. Yep. Or his staff is, he's been amazing. So I just want to say that.
Thank you.
Because we had all those concerns in the beginning. and
Yes.
They've done
Can
an
you
amazing.
believe it's April?
They've done a great job.
Sitting here.
So
Yeah.
parents should not be concerned because he takes a great care of the building. Good evening, everyone. I'm Joanne Riley, Union Co-President. I'm here tonight with our Vice President, Julie O'Connor. We want to begin our time tonight by acknowledging the service of our retiring board members. Catherine is not here tonight, but thank you, Catherine, Kevin, and Gina, for your time and service to District 124 community. We also would like to thank Mrs. Colleen Klimzak for your continued service to the school district, and we look forward to our continued work together. We would like to welcome our new board members, Patrick McGeever. I hope I pronounced this correctly, Rachel Mariquin, is that correct? Okay. And Judy Rayson, thank you for making the commitment to our school district and community, as well as we very well know a dynamic school district creates an amazing community. We look forward to working side by side with you. As we begin the fourth quarter, in a year where reaching the fourth quarter seemed unreachable, we want to give a huge shout out to every single teacher and staff member for all of the amazing work you have done to get us to this point. Have gone above and beyond day in and day out to make synchronous teaching work. You have planned for 2 completely different teaching styles, designed new classrooms, and made a paradigm shift in your craft to create new and wonderful learning opportunities. You have made the abnormal normal for our students. You have sacrificed so much of yourself, and we want you to know you are valued and appreciated, and this could never have gotten this far without your tremendous efforts.
We would also like to thank our superintendents and our school board members for recognizing the remarkable work of the teachers and working with the union this year to complete various memos of understanding. We all agree that this has been a challenging year, and we've had difficult conversations all year, but one thing has always been agreed on, and that's the dedication, the commitment of the teachers and the staff. And we thank you for acknowledging this. We would also like to thank our social workers and our psychologists who have given phenomenal support to the teachers and students as we've navigated this pandemic together. In a year where supporting the mental and the emotional health of students and faculty has become even more important, your sharing of your creative strategies for students and families and teachers is so appreciated. So next month, we will be highlighting our retirees and our support staff. Their contributions over the years and this year is unmatched. We look forward to sharing unique stories and highlighting the contributions of these members who have left a lasting impression on our students. Lastly, we'd like to officially welcome Dr. Woodland. Thank you for taking the time to visit each of our schools. We look forward to working closely with you to keep the lines of communication open so we can continue to make the good things happen here in District 124.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, I would like to make a motion to recess to closed session to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of a specific employee of the district or legal counsel for the district, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee or legal counsel for the district to determine its validity. Do I have somebody to make the first motion?
Make that motion.
And a second?
I'll second.
All right, so we are recessed to closed session. We expect to be out of closed session no later than 7:45. Here we go. So thank you for allowing us to go into closed session for a few
7:52.
moments. We are returning it from closed session at 7:52, let the record show. And we're going to move on to the board reports. The first one is the DRT meeting, the district review team meeting, which was Mrs. Klimczak.
Yes. And there's another one this Monday. So we did have a DIRT meeting on March 29th, right here. I always like the celebrations and hearing what good things people are appreciating at their the different buildings. And there were a number of concerns presented. I think we were up to 11, but some of them were similar and understandably so. March 29th was after our last board meeting when we had to announce the reduction in force. And so there were questions around that. There were questions also obviously about instruction for next year, if we're going to have to worry about remote learning or not. And I think that's a question on everybody's mind. Right now, we are moving forward, as I think most districts are, with the intention and belief and hope that we will be able to have a much more normal school year next year. So there was questions about with returning students for fourth quarter, if a classroom had to quarantine, would they be able to remote learn? So there were some things that were discussed about that. And I'm not sure where we are with that. That was something that we needed to come back to and kind of announce as it was returned. So there was always a question, obviously, about climate and culture, staff attendance, subs and pairs being pulled. So many of these are not necessarily issues that we can resolve in 1 hour and a half meeting, but it is such a good thing that we are having these conversations. And they're tough conversations. And I respect everybody bringing them up. So there was also discussions about, what we have been able to do for our teachers, which probably still isn't enough in this time of COVID, but what we have been able to do so far to appreciate what they have been doing above and beyond the usual call. synchronous pay and so also it's just some staffing questions and, well, more about the RIF. And testing okay, so testing policies when kids are traveling out of town, which we've addressed at meetings before, we are unable to enforce testing policies. We are not the city of Chicago, and therefore we cannot force anybody to not travel and also to get tested, unfortunately. So did I leave any? That was a long meeting condensed into 4 minutes. So did I leave
You did a
anything
great
out,
job.
my supers?
You did a great job.
Okay.
Thank you. Can somebody send a copy of the meeting notes or the agenda to the rest of the board members?
Yeah, and actually Tanya will be giving you the notes.
Okay, yeah, I know typically we see them, so. Oh, we don't, they might not have been, I don't read the online, I only read the paper, so it might not have been in the paper, sorry, I know I'm so old school, I know, I'm sorry.
It's good information for everyone on the board.
Yeah, I don't ever look at my online, I only read it on packet because I like to make my notes, so.
Sure. No, I hear you.
Sorry about that. Okay, so great. Anyone have any questions for her about the DRT meeting? No?
You wanna do Mondays or? Okay, I'm up.
Miguel.
You'll see me again on Monday.
Excellent. All right. So the next we're going to discuss is the election results. And I sent the Cook County Board of Elections, I just requested the unofficial summary. And right now the canvassing of the votes started today and it ends 8 days later. Yes. So Colleen Klimzak had 2,242 votes. Rachel Merquin had 1,984 votes. Judith Rayson had 2,007 votes for a total voting of 6,233 votes. Our write-in candidate, Patrick McKeever, had a total of 147 votes. So with that being said, is there any questions about these unofficial survey or unofficial reports on the votes?
So absolutely enough for Mr. McKeever.
Yes.
So
Well, which is so funny because when I sent the email to her this morning, and she says, I hope you know you had one write-in. I said, yes, I did.
Yes.
So we did know that. And so the canvassing of the votes we have to swear in our new officers, our new board members before the end of the canvassing of the votes. We are doing that next Wednesday, right?
Yes.
Okay, so is there any questions about the election results at this time? All right, moving on to insurance committee update meeting. Gina or Kevin?
So I attended the meeting. It was fairly short, so fairly short report. We just discussed the premium adjustments. Basically all good news. There's a
Excellent.
1.9% increase for the PPO and HSA and a 1.1% for the premiums for the HMO. So all things considered, that's pretty good.
Yes, yes.
And so this is the first increase we've seen with the new co-op. So, you know, we're still seeing a savings over the old co-op and we didn't see any sort of corrective bump, which was, I guess, an outside concern. So again.
We've had 4 and 5 years where it's 4 and 5% increases. So yes, up to 8%. So this
Yeah,
is great.
so really good news, and you know, we're still below, for the most part, most of the premiums are still below where they were with the old co-op, so both the employees and the district are bearing
Excellent.
a big chunk of that cost, are saving money there.
Does anybody have any questions for Kevin about the insurance committee meeting? No, all right, excellent. At this time, we will move on to action items. Consent agenda A. Number 1 is to approve the monthly transaction reports for, March 2021. Number 2 is to approve the fund balance report for March 2021. Number 3 is to approve the expenditure report and projected payroll report for April 2021. Number 4 is to approve the board minutes from the committee of the whole meeting of March 10th, 2021. Number 5 is to approve the destruction of closed session tapes from January of 2017. Number 6, I should have renumbered these. Number 6 is to approve summer school staff. Number 7 is to approve the personnel recommendations as outlined. It looks like we have recalled 3 paraprofessionals. We have 1 FMLA and 2 resignations. Do I have somebody to approve that?
Forgot the destruction of the closed session tapes from January 2017. That should have been 6.
Yeah, you were one off.
Skipped
I
one.
was 1 off. Okay, so 6, 7, and 8. I'm sorry. So 4.
But I'll make that
5,
motion.
6, 7. I thought I read that. I swear.
No,
You read,
you started with summer school staff.
I think if we rewind it, I think I did. But okay,
Hold it there.
whatever, people. So Dan, number 5 is to approve the destruction of closed session dates from January of 2017. We're gonna rewatch this later, Alex.
It was a closed minutes.
What did I miss?
You did mention the destruction of tapes. It was the number 5, the approve the closed session minutes.
But you don't have those, right? We're not
Committee of the
voting.
whole meeting?
no,
Yeah.
that's the
6
regular
and
board
7 were
meeting.
getting skipped.
That 6 and 7 you skip, and then 8 becomes 6.
The original 5 we have.
Okay. So would somebody like to make a motion to approve all of that?
I'll make that motion. We know what you meant.
Uh-huh. And a second
I'll second.
and a roll call.
Colleen Clemzak,
Yes.
Daniel Malloy,
Yes.
Kevin O'Connor,
Yes.
Claudia Parker,
Claudia?
Yes.
Thank you.
Catherine Fontaine, absent, Gina Cannon, yes. Kim Leonard,
Yes.
are you sure?
I think I read them all. All right, so B is to approve the coach interventionists as recommended for the 2021-2022 school year. Do I have somebody to make that first motion
I'll make that motion.
and a second
I'll second.
and a roll call?
Gina Cannon, yes. Colleen Clemzak,
Yes.
Kim Leonard,
Yes.
Catherine Fontaine, absent, Claudia Parker,
Yes.
Daniel Malloy,
Yes.
Kevin O'Connor.
Yes.
Motion is passed.
C is to approve the reassignment of an administrator to the multi-tiered system of support coach position for the 2021. I'm sorry, what?
Coordinator as a coach.
Approve the reassignment of administrator to the multi-tiered system of support coach.
Coordinator.
Oh, okay, on my paper it says,
Yes, Ron, should be
okay, I'm sorry, coordinator.
I didn't catch.
Okay, I'm sorry, coordinator. Multi-tier system of support coordinator position for the 2021-2022 school year. Do I have somebody to make the first motion
I'll make that motion.
and a second? I'll make the second and a roll call.
Colleen Clemzak,
Yes.
Kim Leonard,
Yes.
Gina Cannon, yes. Catherine Fontaine, absent. Claudia Parker,
Yes.
Daniel Malloy,
Yes.
and Kevin O'Connor.
Yes.
Motion is passed.
All right. D is to approve the resolution honoring retirees. And at this moment, give me a second. Hey, God, do not, I'm not gonna make my. Oh, here we go. I'm sorry, I found it. Evergreen Park Elementary School District 124. This is a resolution honoring retirees on the occasion of their retirement from School District 124. Whereas the Board of Education desires to recognize Tim Kostecki from the business office with 7 years, Mark Reiner, Central Middle School, 17 years, Pat Cronin, Northwest School, 20 years, Ellen Dugan, Central Middle School, 20 years, Amanda Sullivan, Central Middle School, 20 years, Mary Ellen Zagorski, Northwest, 20 years, Margaret Semp, Food Service, 22 years, Annette Keating, Northwest, 25 years, Susan Sahaki, Southwest, 35 years, Tara Danaher, Southwest, 36 years. Whereas the Board of Education wants to thank each of them for their hard work and dedication to the students, parents, and staff of Evergreen Park School District 124. Now, there be resolved by the Board of Education of School District Number 124, Evergreen Park, Cook County, Illinois, as follows. Section 1. The Board of Education of School District Number 124, Evergreen Park, Illinois, congratulates them on the occasion of their retirement from the district after many years of selfless service. On behalf of the residents of School District Number 124, the Board of Education expresses its heartfelt appreciation to them for their many years of devotion and dedication to the school community of Evergreen Park. Section 3, the Board of Education wishes them and their families all the best of good health, good times, and happiness in a much-deserved retirement. Approved and adopted on this 21st day of April 2021 by an affirmation and a confirming roll call vote of the Board of Education. At this time, let's give them all a round of applause. Look at these. This is just an amazing amount of years.
212, I think.
Yeah, it's just amazing. And so we certainly wish them all the best. And I, at this time, would like to make the motion to approve this resolution honoring our retirees. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
And a roll call.
Kim Leonard,
Yes.
Colleen Clemzak, Gina Cannon, yes, Catherine Fontaine, absent, Claudia Parker,
Yes.
Daniel Malloy,
Yes.
and Kevin O'Connor.
Yes.
Motion is passed.
Clemzak boys had so many of those.
I know, I'm reading like, I know all, I think I know all of them. It's great.
Scouting, like.
Yes, yes. This is quite a lot of years of service. Okay, so the next is to approve the resolution honoring retiring board members. The Evergreen Park Elementary School District 124 resolution for appreciation for Dr. Kevin O'Connor, Gina Cannon, and Catherine Fontaine for service as a member of the Board of Education, Evergreen Park Elementary School District 124. Whereas they have provided selfless service to the board, the students, parents, and community of Evergreen Park, Illinois, with distinction as a member of the Board of Education. Whereas they have consistently considered the quality of education provided to the students of Evergreen Park Elementary School District 124 as their primary and overriding responsibility. And whereas they have significantly contributed to the many decisions made by the Board of Education with their open-mindedness, intellect, sense of fairness, and loyalty. Now therefore be it resolved to commend them for their aforesaid accomplishments and to convey the genuine appreciation of the members of the administration and the Board of Education, Evergreen Park Elementary School District 124, for their dedication during their tenure and serving as a member of the Board of Education, dated this 21st day of April 2021. I'd like to make a motion to approve this resolution honoring our board members. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
And a roll call.
Kim Leonard,
Yes.
Colleen Clemzak,
Yes.
Gina Cannon, yes, Catherine Fontaine, absent, Claudia Parker,
Yes.
Daniel Malloy,
No, yeah.
Kevin O'Connor.
Yes.
Motion is passed.
All right. Thank you.
If we say no, they gotta stay, right?
And last is to approve the agreement between Porter Cullens and Evergreen Park School District 124 for the parking lot usage. As you know, I sent you a contract earlier this week, and we are happy to hopefully to extend this as a courtesy to our very small community, our businesses that we want to show support for. So with that being said, would somebody like to make a motion to approve the agreement?
I'll make them.
I'll make that motion.
All right, Claudia made the motion. And a second?
I'll second.
Dan Malloy made the second. And a roll call?
Claudia Parker.
Yep.
Daniel Malloy,
Yes.
Kevin O'Connor,
Yes.
Kim Leonard.
Yes.
Colleen Clemzak,
Yes.
Gina Cannon, yes, and Catherine Fontaine is absent.
All right.
Is passed.
Motion is passed. With that being said, I'd like to make a motion to recess to closed session to discuss the appointment, employment, compensations, discipline, performance, or dismissal of a specific employee of the district or legal counsel for the district, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee or legal counsel for the district to determine its validity. We will also be discussing real estate transactions. So do I have somebody to make a motion? And a second?
I'll second.
And a roll call?
Kelly Klinzak.
Yes.
Gina Cannon, yes. Kim Leonard.
Yes.
Catherine Fontaine, absent. Claudia Parker.
Yes.
Daniel Malloy.
Yes.
Kevin O'Connor.
Yes.
And Kim Leonard.
Yes.
Motion is passed.
We do not anticipate taking any action. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Meeting, it is not has ended, but is suspended to go into closed session, but there will be no further action.